really was a discussion for you all to come up here and to tell us your thoughts. No decision has been made, like Al said, but this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring you up so that we can hear your concerns. We weren't trying to do anything without your consent or thoughts, at least, so we can consider. And I think that speaks a lot of this council, because, you know, there have been times when councils have tried to do things without considering the people in town. So I think that was a big part of us asking you to come up and voice your concerns. Some people seemed a little angry, and I think that's because the perception is that we're getting rid of SCORE and things like that. That's not our intention at all. We're trying to save money, and at the same time, we're trying to see where we can cut the budget because it needs to be cut. And in cases like this, we're asking people to come up and talk about, what your needs are, and so we can maybe accommodate in other ways. The library was excited to do this. I think they would have put together a great program for you. I don't know if the facility is big enough, and that's what you voiced tonight. 75 people, having 75 guests come in to speak to all of you is a lot of people. And I don't think the library would hold that. But then again, I don't think the senior center would hold it either, with just the renovations. That place, unless I'm looking at something different, even fixed up, I'm not sure that would hold 100 or so people on any one floor like that, to have that kind of group. So, I mean, that's something that we have to take into consideration also. That building was purchased and we paid for it, and now we have to maybe fix it up or see what we're gonna do with it. But we need to know those things, those facts, before we actually go and put in another 300,000 into this building, and then it still doesn't accommodate you. And you're still at the center over there because you don't have the room. So, thank you for coming up. We definitely heard you. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Johnny. Ed, did you want to say anything?
Just briefly, I want to thank the members of SCORE for coming tonight, and like Alphonse said, we're glad to get your input. We did hear you. We will be listening. Like you said, no decisions were made, and I just think it's important. We don't want to cut the quality of your program. It was for an overall budget consideration, and obviously we don't want to reduce the little time you have already. We don't have to. We're just looking at different solutions to deal with a very, very difficult budget problem. And this was it seemed like it was a good idea, something worth considering. We can see the constraints put on you, and like Johnny said also, I'm not convinced that the American Legion will be your answer. I believe it's going to be too small. It will not accommodate your needs as well. So we still have to look for a longer-term solution. But that being said, we're still in this present budget process, and we'll do our best to try to accommodate your concerns this year.
Thank you, Ed. John?
Thank you, Mayor. Also, thank you all for coming up. It was your views were very well articulated and obviously made impact on everyone up here. And I would like to echo what Sandy said about the American Legion, in that it was purchased. We purchased it. We got money from Community Development Block Grant as a senior center. We can continue to get money. We actually have $200 and some odd thousand worth of grants we've applied for this year to make improvements to that building. It is not habitable right now. We know that. No one would put anyone in that building, and so to think that we don't know that is silly. And it does have a lot of work. People are throwing out a lot of numbers, though, about what it would cost, and no one up here has any firm idea. We haven't yet spent the money to investigate to get hard numbers, but it's significant. It could be $300,000. But my fear about knocking it down is that it will take too long then to get something moving on it, where we can do this. And that was the idea from previous councils, was to get money each year. And if we could get $150,000 this year and maybe another $100,000 next year, that would certainly be a good start to getting you a home, and then a home that the rest of the town can use as well, because you're willing to take it 1 day a week now. I mean, if we could get you a place that you could use 3 days a week, 4 days a week, it would still provide an outlet or a home for other groups in town. So the vision is right. And I think most people see that spot is a really good spot in town, and a spot where something should be for our community. How we get there, we seem to be differing on views. But I would like us to not abandon that idea right now, because if we abandon it, that's gonna sit and shuttered, and we'll just continue where you're at the temple. And I think that there's better alternatives, so, thank you.
Thank you, John. And Paul?
I appreciate your time coming up tonight, I really do. In fact, some of you are my customers, and I see you all the time, and and I see you in your homes, and I see that, you know, what it takes to get out of your house and exercise and move around and move to other places. And, you know, I graduated with daughter Kim, and, you know, I just, you know, I look at where our town's going, and, you know, the council as a whole up here is not looking to cut anything. You know, in fact, we're trying to enhance the opportunity for seniors. You know, we were just using this library as a suggestion. Maybe that's another idea. Our biggest concern right now is cost to keep the senior program going. You know, if we came out and turned around and said, we're not gonna have senior program, forget it, that would be a disaster. You know, our ideas, and everybody here works on looking at different ideas to enhance the program. One idea would be the rabbi needs to sit down with us, and in fact, we need to present ourselves to the rabbi down there and see other ideas that he can present to us as far as the town saving money using that particular space. And maybe not even pulling out of it. You know, these are ideas that we have to look at. Ordell has come up to us and helped us out and said, listen, we would love to have you seniors come over here. We have a great senior area over here. I talked to the councilman over there, and I didn't get a chance to bring it up to everybody tonight, but they talked, you know, I talked to some of these guys, and they're happy with expanding their group with ours and open up more entertainment to everybody. So the whole idea here is not to take away, but to add to the whole circumstance here. And you know, someday we're gonna be seniors, and we want the same respect as you two too. So we understand that, and you know, we clearly have that respect. I really appreciate you coming up tonight. But I do want to mention something about the American Legion. Let's not get too excited about some place that may not be accommodating for us. You know, we don't want to put a lot of money into a place that we can only use for seniors. And everyone's getting used to this grant that's going out that we can use it for the seniors and then also bring other people in. I read the grant. We can't use it for anything else but seniors. That is true. I read most of it too. So I went over it before I opened my mouth on this one. And we cannot do something that's going to put the town in jeopardy, and it's going to cause problems as we go forward. But there are other towns there that are willing to work with us. So, you know, as much as we say let's go forward with the building, you know, I take our professionals that run the town, as far as the DPW and John Lynch, who says, Paul, it costs us so much to keep this place running a year. By the time we get it fixed on one end, we're going to put that much more money in the back end to keep this thing running. And the town doesn't have it. And what we're looking at is tax problems. We have people that can't afford to stay in the town anymore because their taxes are just too high. So if we keep adding the burden to the tax on there, good people like yourself would have to leave. So our idea is let's find a way to cut our costs, but not affect the programs that we have right now. Because the last thing I want to do as a councilman is take away a senior program. I only want to enhance it. My mother is going to be a senior soon. I have family members that are still in town that are looking to get into score and move forward. So these are programs that are here that we want to enhance. Now, the issue of the American Legion will be discussed with the council. We'll talk more of that. I'm a very vocal person. So some of the stuff you read in the paper, it comes to my heart. Because I see where we go with this town. I'm a contractor, I'm a builder. I understand where things will end up in 5 to 10 years. If we put the burden on the taxpayer to carry the load of something that we can't, what's going to happen is in 5 to 10 years, we won't even have the right people in town to support our town. And we're going to look at a different dichotomy in 5 to 10 years. You won't even realize who River Edge is in 5 to 10 years. You grew up in this town. You know who we are. I grew up in this town. I went to kindergarten, and I went all the way through the system. And I said, I want to be able to come back in 10 or 15 years and have my kids come through and say, yeah, this is still River Edge. This is not some town I don't know. And yes, the seniors are part of everything, and that's our main goal tonight, is to save the program to seniors. And I appreciate the time you guys coming up tonight. I do get very passionate about this because I look at a lot of people like to jump on the bandwagon and say, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Every one of these councilmen up here are out for the best interest of the town. And that's what I have to say. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much for coming up. I always appreciate coming over to SCORE. I enjoy it every time. It's always good to see you. And, one of these days, I'll even join your exercise group. I probably will.